The Galactic Council had existed for over 12 million years. Its records were considered sacred. Its classifications were treated as universal law. When the Council labeled a species as Alpha, it meant that civilization stood at the very top of the cosmic food chain. No one questioned these rankings. No one dared. They had held the Alpha designation for nearly 300,000 years. They were massive creatures, standing over 4 meters tall with armored skin that could deflect plasma fire. Their ships were the size of small moons. Their weapons could crack planets in half. They had conquered over 4,000 star systems and enslaved countless species. The galaxy trembled at the mere mention of their name. Ambassador Al of the species remembered the day when humans first appeared before the Galactic Council. It was considered a minor event at the time. The creatures were small and soft. They had no natural weapons, no claws, no armor, no telepathic abilities. Their technology was primitive compared to even the lowest-ranked species in the galaxy. The Council had laughed when humans requested membership. They were classified as Gamma 7, which meant they were barely considered intelligent life. They had found this especially amusing. Their High Commander, the Destroyer, had made a joke that these hairless mammals would make excellent pets. That joke would cost him everything. The conflict began when a patrol fleet destroyed a human colony ship near the Andromeda border. 3,000 human civilians were killed in what they called pest control. They expected no response. They expected the humans to accept their place in the cosmic hierarchy and remain silent. They were wrong. Within one standard galactic cycle, human warships appeared at the edge of space. The Council had no records of humans possessing military vessels. They had no records of humans having faster-than-light travel capabilities beyond basic transportation. Yet here they were, with a fleet that numbered in the thousands. High Commander laughed when he received the reports. He sent his forward fleet of 50 destroyers to eliminate what he called the insect problem. Those 50 ships carried enough firepower to level an entire solar system. They had never faced defeat. They had never known fear. None of them returned. The Council received fragmented transmissions from the destroyers. The signals showed human ships moving at speeds that known physics. They showed weapons that seemed to bend space itself. They showed armor melting like water under concentrated fire. The last transmission was a single voice screaming before cutting to static. Ambassador Al was present when High Commander received the news. The massive warrior's confidence shattered like glass. For the first time in recorded history, showed something that looked like doubt. But they were not Alpha for nothing. Gathered the full might of his empire, 10,000 warships, 2 million soldiers, weapons that had ended civilizations. He would crush these humans and remind the galaxy why his species ruled the stars. The Battle of Prime would become the most studied conflict in galactic history. The fleet arrived in full force, expecting to overwhelm the human defenders through sheer numbers. What they found instead changed everything the galaxy believed about warfare. The humans did not fight like other species. They did not engage in honorable combat. They did not follow the established rules of galactic warfare. They were creative, they were unpredictable, they were terrifying. Human ships released clouds of microscopic machines that ate through hull plating. Human soldiers in powered armor boarded enemy vessels and fought with a ferocity that shocked even the battle-hardened. Human commanders used tactics that no species had ever conceived. They set traps. They used deception. They turned their own weapons against them. The battle lasted only 6 hours. When it ended, the fleet was nothing but debris floating in the void of space. High Commander's flagship was captured intact. He was found hiding in an escape pod, begging for mercy. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. The Alpha species had been broken. But the humans were not finished. What followed was a campaign unlike anything the galaxy had witnessed. Human forces did not simply defeat They systematically dismantled their entire civilization. Every military base was destroyed. Every shipyard was reduced to atoms. Every weapon manufacturing facility was eliminated. The humans moved with a cold efficiency that disturbed even the council's eldest members. They did not torture. They did not enslave. They did not take pleasure in destruction. They simply removed the threat with the same emotion a surgeon might show when removing a tumor. Ambassador Al was sent to negotiate with the human leaders. He expected to find bloodthirsty conquerors drunk on their own power. Instead, he found tired men and women who spoke of peace and protection. They explained that they did not want war. They did not want conquest. They simply wanted to ensure that no species would ever again murder innocent civilians without consequence. The human admiral, a woman named Sarah, had looked at Al with eyes that held no hatred. She had explained that her own daughter had been aboard that colony ship. She had received the news while commanding a patrol vessel. She had cried for 3 days before reporting for duty. She told Al that humans were not monsters. They were simply a species that protected their own. They were a species that remembered. They were a species that understood the value of every single life. And they were a species that would never forgive those who took innocent lives without reason. They fell within 3 months of the first battle. Their population was not slaughtered. Their cities were not burned. Instead, the humans offered them a choice. They could disarm completely and join the galactic community as equals. They could abandon their ways of conquest and slavery. They could become something better. Many accepted. Those who refused were exiled to barren moons at the edge of known space. Their technology was confiscated. Their fleet was dismantled. Their empire was erased from the galactic map. The Council was forced to update their records. They were reclassified as former Alpha. Their designation was changed to Omega 12, the lowest possible ranking. It was a humiliation that would last for generations. But the true shock came when the Council attempted to classify humans. Their scientists studied human biology and found a species with no natural advantages. Their analysts examined human technology and found innovations that had been developed in mere decades. Their historians reviewed human culture and found a civilization that had nearly destroyed itself multiple times, yet always found a way to survive. They discovered that humans had split the atom before they had achieved spaceflight. They had created weapons capable of ending all life on their planet before they had learned to live in peace with each other. They had faced extinction through disease, war, and environmental collapse, yet they had overcome every challenge. The Council's classification experts spent months debating how to rank this strange species. Some argued for alpha status. Others believed a new classification was needed entirely. The debate grew heated as different species voiced their opinions. In the end, the humans solved the problem themselves. Admiral addressed the Council directly. She stated that her people did not care about rankings or classifications. They did not wish to rule the galaxy. They did not wish to be feared. They simply wished to exist in peace and ensure that peace for others. She warned the Council that humanity would watch over the galaxy from that day forward. Any species that chose the path of conquest and cruelty would face the same fate as the. Any species that preyed upon the weak would find humanity standing in their path. The Council chamber fell silent. Ambassador Al felt something he had never experienced before. It was not fear exactly. It was something closer to respect, perhaps even gratitude. For millions of years, the strong had dominated the weak. For millions of years, species like the had taken whatever they wanted without consequence. The galaxy had accepted this as natural law. The galaxy had believed that power was the only truth. Humanity had proven them wrong. In the decades that followed, the galaxy transformed. Slave species were freed. Conquered worlds gained independence. Wars of aggression became rare as potential aggressors remembered what had happened to the. The mere threat of human intervention was enough to prevent countless conflicts. Ambassador Al lived long enough to see a galaxy at peace for the first time in recorded history. He often thought about that first day when humans had stood before the council, small and soft and seemingly powerless. He thought about how wrong everyone had been. They still existed in scattered communities across the galaxy. They were farmers and traders now, having abandoned their warrior ways. Some of them even expressed gratitude for what the humans had done. They said that conquest had been a prison, and humanity had set them free. Al spent his final years writing a comprehensive history of the human war. His conclusion was simple. The galaxy had always measured power in physical strength, in weapons, in the ability to destroy. Humans had taught them that true power came from something else entirely. It came from unity. It came from determination. It came from a willingness to protect those who could not protect themselves. It came from love for one's own kind and respect for all living things. They had been labeled alpha because they could kill. Humans were something different. They could kill when necessary, but they preferred to build. They preferred to heal. They preferred to create a universe where no species needed to live in fear. The Council never did officially classify humans. Some suggested Omega as a joke about their humble beginnings. Others proposed Ultra-Alpha to reflect their military dominance. In the end, humans were simply listed as humanity, classification pending. Ambassador Al thought this was fitting. Humans could not be classified because they were always changing, always growing, always becoming something more. They had risen from nothing to become the most influential force in the galaxy, not through conquest but through their willingness to stand up for what was right. They had been wiped from existence as a galactic power. Their empire was gone. Their legacy was shame. Yet in their place stood something better, a galaxy united, a galaxy at peace, a galaxy protected by those small, soft, seemingly powerless creatures that everyone had once dismissed. The title of Alpha meant nothing now. The old ways were dead, and in their place stood humanity, forever watching, forever protecting, forever reminding the galaxy that the smallest species could rise to greatness through courage and love. The stars themselves seemed brighter in this new age, and all because one species had refused to accept the cruelty of the universe as inevitable. All because humans had looked at the darkness and chosen to become the light.